All right, so this is part of my Kaiju Brooklyn haul right here. This is going to be a double review. This is the Hiya Exquisite Basic Series, Kong Skull Island, and Kong Skull Island Skulldevil. So, very, very happy to find these. I've been wanting the Kong for a while. I really didn't find any in America that were at the right price online. Couldn't really find the Skulldevil at all. You know, online's kind of crazy these days. They're charging way more for these figures than they should be. And then, you know, it's on the buyer to pay for everything, shipping, tax, fees, all kinds of shit. So, I was really happy to get these two for reasonable prices in person at the Kaiju Brooklyn 2 event today. You know what I mean? So, this is what we got going on. I really love the boxes. I think Hiya does some excellent boxes here. And these two obviously go with each other. I've been wanting a Hiya Kong. This is my first Hiya Kong. And it makes sense that it would be this one, the 2017 Skull Island. Of course, you know, to make it complete, you have to have the Skulldevil figure to go along with it. And, you know, I will be seeking out more Hiya Kongs. I'm going to get the GVK one, and then hopefully they'll do a Beast Club version soon. So, but I'm really, really happy to also have a nice articulated Skullcrawler, because this is probably the best Skullcrawler figure there is out there, honestly. And yeah, very nice boxes. Kong Skull Island with a picture of Kong, picture of the figure on the side, picture of Kong on the back. And then we also have another picture of the figure on the other side. So, yeah, that's just it. The box is really cool. Same thing with the Skulldevil, same color scheme. Nice picture of the figure on the front. Kong Skull Island with a picture of the figure right here. Same thing on the back. Another picture of the figure. And on this side, you just have basically his arm. Or actually one of his legs, whatever. But these are really, really nice. We are going to get them out of the box. And we'll talk about them. Okay, and we got standard clamshell packaging for both of them. Just so you see here. With Kong, it looks like we get 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of hands in total. Another head. And the tree. And then the Skullcrawler's here. Skullcrawler's got a pretty long tail there. Didn't realize the tail was so long. That's cool. But it's nice that you get these accessories. You get the hands that come on them, and then 1, 2, 3 more sets, and an extra head. And then you get the tree here. Awesome, man. So, let's get these out and take a look at them. All right, so here he is. We have Kong, and then we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of hands. The 2 he comes with and 2 others, along with this tree branch here, and another head, the open mouth head. Pretty nice. Yeah, this is my first Hiya Kong. And I think it's really nice, you know. It takes a little getting used to. It's different. The articulation is different from the SH Monster art. So, it just was weird at first having him in hand. But I think I've gotten used to how he moves now. You know what I mean? And I really, really like the detail. I think the face is great. This definitely represents a Skull Island teenage Kong. It looks like him pretty good, pretty screen accurate, you know. That's what Hiya is known for, so, and I think they're continuing that there. I very much like the way this looks. And then we'll get into the open mouth head a little later on in the review, but Yeah, very nice. The articulation on this is interesting. Can't do everything SH Monster Arts could do, but it certainly can do a bunch of stuff. And I think that, you know, the sculpt is nice. The fur is done well. Um, it's screen accurate. It has decent articulation. The paint job is very good. It's a solid figure all around, just from, you know, first time out of the box and messing around with it for a few minutes. Yeah, I like it. It's got a nice look to it. And there's something about it that conveys that it's the 2017 Kong, well, the 1973 Kong, basically, Teenage Kong. It feels like he's a little smaller, you know. The scaling looks correct with him. So I think that's quite nice. And this is everything that comes in the package. So let's pose this sucker. All right, so I'm just going with a kind of a standing on all fours stance, because they gave you, these are the hands that come on them, which was kind of a weird choice to me, rather than the fists or the hands that hold things. But so because it's these, I started off with this, and you can get them into an all-four position. It's not going to look as good as when you do it with an SH Monster Arts figure, but you could still make it happen here. And if you could see here, the legs, you could pull them down to give it a little bit more mobility, and then you push them back into the socket, like, you know. Kind of an interesting choice for the way the legs function. You could either have them, you know, standing straight, or you could just pull them down a little bit to give it a little more posability. But you know, you could get them on all fours, and it's pretty cool. And you know, I gotta say that the articulation is pretty decent, and this is interesting. You know, like these legs that pulled down they're a weird choice, but it works for this figure. So yeah, I'm definitely quite impressed with the articulation on this. You have really, really nice posability in his arms and legs, his feet, and at the torso, and you could really make him look quite expressive. You know, I like the way that his arms are done here. I like the way the torso moves. Maybe he could have had a little bit less of a belly on him, but I still think it's pretty good, and I think that, you know, it's just smooth articulation on this figure, and I really, really like that. Of course, these are another set of hands, the open hands, which could be really expressive on just, you know, the regular closed mouth Kong, if you were posing him that way. Looks really nice, though. All right, now here we're going to basically have him in the pose from the box. You know, this is the open mouth head, which is done very, very nicely. I love how the teeth are done on the inside of the mouth. The eyes are very well done. I love the sculpt of the open mouth head. Very, very nice. Let's see, just take a closer look at it there. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and of course this is, you know, the hands that are on the picture. It's the hand that holds the tree and the fist. So you could just, you know, either put two of the same, or you could mix and match which hands go on. And I think that looks really nice. Really cool pose from the box. And you know, this is nice. This moves really well. It's sculpted well. It really looks good. I like the open mouth head on this one too. Maybe I mean, they're both nice. I think they're both very accurate, but this looks really cool, the open mouth head. That's nice. You could get them in the pose that's on the front of the box. Awesome. And here we'll basically put them into the pose from the back of the box, so you can see them like that. Really, really interesting, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different style of articulation. And it's nice. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's really nice. See, when you want to get him in a little bit more of a dynamic pose, you just pull the legs out. So you could get him wider that way, and you could get him in a nice pose like this, like he's beating on his chest and roaring up into the sky. Excellent. Really cool. This figure feels nice. It looks nice. I really love the paint job on this. It really, really conveys Kong's fur. Awesome. And that is a really well done head. That is a nice face sculpt on the open mouth. Awesome, man. Really, really done well. Yeah, you could get this thing in some really interesting action poses. Make it look like he's running and throwing a punch. Awesome. You could mix and match the hands, which, you know, gives you endless possibilities for how you want to pose it on your shelf. But it's really nice. Just got to balance it correctly. You got to work the articulation. Just get used to it when you first get it in your hands. Move it around. See how it works, you know. And I think this is quite nice. It's throwing me off a little, I'm not going to lie, because I'm used to other Kongs, and this is kind of different. The articulation approach is different. Not saying a different bad, it's a different good, but it just takes a minute to get used to. Looks really nice. Hiya Toys with another nice figure, I have to say. Just getting used to their Kong. And hopefully get the GVK Kong soon. And hopefully they make a Beast Glove Kong soon. So, but this is really nice, man. And that's awesome. If you balance it correctly, you could get Kong in a really nice dynamic running pose. That's fantastic. You know, so yeah, I mean, you know, Hiya's articulation is underrated. It's not as good as SH Monster Arts, but it's clever. And it's certainly underrated, and you could do a lot with it. It's not limited, you know? And that just looks amazing right there. Awesome. So, and, you know, the best part about this figure is that I was able to get it in person at Kaiju Brooklyn, too, and pay only $60 for it. You know, I've seen it online for crazy prices. You know what I mean? 80, 90, 100, 120 bucks. Like, you know, it's just, you can't really buy things on eBay or Amazon or Mercari anymore without really it selling more than what it's worth, you know? So it was nice to just be able to go buy it and give a guy cash and pay what it's really worth, which was $60, and, you know, and be happy about that, you know. I don't recommend overpaying for figures when you know, wait it out. Have the patience, you know. Although I was not expecting this to be here. You know, I thought maybe they were just gonna be vinyl. I didn't know if they were gonna have Hiya or not, but I'm very glad that they did. This is a nice figure. I really like the closed mouth head too, you know, if you could see that. The eyes are well done on it. I like the face. I like the teeth on both of them, the open mouth and the closed mouth. And I like how you can just mix and match the hands and just create any pose you want, basically. Kong looks awesome, man. Kong is cool. I like collecting Godzilla and Kong more than anything else, you know. And I enjoy Kong figures. I really do. And this is a good one. And now I just want to show you the progression of Kong in the Monsterverse, you know. And hopefully one day I'll get to do this with all Hiya figures. But for now, we have the 2017 Skull Island Kong, the 2021 Godzilla vs. Kong, and the 2024 GXK Kong. And you can see here the differences. This is a young Kong, and it shows. Here's Kong, you know, getting older, more mature. He's a fully grown adult now. And then this is Kong getting older and more gray. And, you know, I think that they all convey each era of Kong in the Monsterverse very, very nicely. So, you know, but I do really want to get the GVK Kong from Hiya. And hopefully they'll have a Beast Glove version coming soon after that. But this is very, very nice, you know. A really cool figure. I'm going to have to say my favorite out of these three is certainly the 2024 SH Monster Arts. That's the coolest Kong figure to me right now. I just thoroughly enjoyed that. This is a cool figure, and it's not far behind, but this to me, you could do so much with it, and it's just great, you know. I do very much like the Hiya Kong, and then, like I said, I need to get my hands on the GVK to see if they changed anything in it, in the way that the articulation works in it and whatnot. But we will see. All right, now for the big guy. This is the Hiya Exquisite Basic Series Kong Skull Island Skulldevil. And this is becoming something of a rarity online. It's hard to find. It's sold out of everywhere. Even the ones I've seen for sale online are at like ridiculous prices. So yeah, this is one that's like become hard to come by. So I was like really happy that I was able to walk into Kaiju Brooklyn too and just purchase this from a stand there. You know, shout out to that guy who sold this to me. He's at the beginning of the video, but you know, I've wanted this guy for a while, and I'll say it like straight off the bat, it's super nice. There's nothing wrong with it. It has a good paint job. It has good articulation. Is it the best Skullcrawler figure out there right now? Maybe so. But it's not a mind blower. You know what I mean? Like, considering how it's like impossible to find, sold like hotcakes, you know. It's okay. It's not bad. You know what I mean? It's nicely done. The paint on it is nicely done. You got a really long tail. And you got some wild articulation in the legs and feet that allow you to do some things with it. But, you know, it's not mind-blowing to where people should be purchasing it at ridiculous prices. I think it happens to look very nice, though, you know. It's got a solid paint job, and that's pretty cool. But, yeah, so I'm happy to own it regardless, and I'm happy to have, you know, because obviously, what are you going to scale with Kong of Skull Island from Hiya? You know what I mean? You kind of have to get the Skulldevil to go along with it, pose it on the shelf with. That's who he fought in the movie. He didn't fight Godzilla. He fought the Skulldevil. So, the big dog. So, we're going to take a further look at this. Keep posing it a little bit for you guys, and I'll show you what he does. Now, I just wanted to go with something completely extreme as far as pose-wise right off the bat, so you could see, like, what this thing can do, you know? Well, you could have a nice tail off the ground pose where he's looking close to the ground and he's, you know, about to turn on, you know, make a turn, and his legs are turning, and you could just plant them like that and balance them like that, and that's really nice, man. You know, that's nice to be able to do that with a Skullcrawler figure. There's going to be some dynamite poses that you could get this guy in, but that's what we're talking about straight off the bat, and that's pretty cool. Look at that. That's fantastic. You could get the legs into some really crazy positions. You could bend the head and the neck, turn them side to side. You could really, really stretch the legs out or bring them back. Tail, you could swing it side to side. the inside of the mouth is pretty crazy. It's done well. The teeth are okay. You know, neither here nor there. They're not bad. It would be nice if we had some articulation on the tongue here, but it's not. But it still looks good though. So that's actually fine. That's a dynamite pose you could get this thing in. Yeah, you could really balance him and get him into some walking positions, or he's just stepping up to use his claws. Super nice, yeah. You could balance it with the tail and get him into some serious poses. Yeah, you could go real wide with his stance also. You know, that's how far out the arms move all over the place, man, you know. This thing, you could do some pretty interesting, like crawling, sneaky looking poses with it. And I love that. So just to get further into the detail, the paint job, and some other features on it here, you know, we do have a lot of detail inside that mouth. From the skin to the tongue. It's pretty nice. It's highly detailed. It's painted quite well. It's a rubber piece, but it doesn't seem to affect the mouth opening as far as you can with it, so, which is nice. But just to show you the nice paint on the top of the head here and all of that detail right there, that almost snake-like looking paint job, and I love the detail of his spikes, his dorsal plates, whatever you want to call them, the white tinge to the top of them, and I really love the paint job on the legs, and going down the back to the tail, just so you could see some more articulation. You know, you could bend the tail down from that point, which like kind of uncovers some extra spikes in the back here. And the tail, I wasn't going to do this, but I'll do it for the sake of the review. The tail is a bendy wire, which normally, if this was a Godzilla figure, I would just leave it alone and I wouldn't even bend it. I would leave it straight. And that's what I had intended to do for the Skullcrawler. But with the Skullcrawler, you do gotta kind of bend his tail, you know? So, the only thing that worries me with bendy wire is that it doesn't go back to where you want it to go. And hopefully that's not what happens here, or it rips through. And I don't want to see that happen, so... but a fantastic paint job on this. As you can see here, just to flip it over so you can see the underside. The paint job underneath it is really excellent also. There's these like cream and yellowish type, beige type colors underneath, and some beautiful grays on top. You know, he's painted well, and the inside of the mouth has great detail to it, as you could see there. Would be nice if the tongue was articulated. That's my only gripe about it, but this thing could get into a ton of poses. Yeah, just take a look at how you could balance this thing. That's sick, the poses you could get this in. Awesome. Really cool. It's a simple figure, but it's very well done. And I just love how it looks. I love how the legs look and the paint on the legs and the detail on the legs and feet. Excellent, man. You know, just be careful with the bendy wire tail, but you could get it into some crazy poses. You could also get them to look pretty far up, you know what I mean? You could keep the legs straight and get them to, you know, fairly high. But, yeah, I mean, you got good mobility with the head and neck, you know, up and down. Really very cool. You could get them to look up fairly high, which is nice. You just put the legs probably as straight as you can to get them to stand as tall as you want them to. And then, you know, both the head and the neck piece turn. So you could see here, you could get some good rotation on the head. Give you another closer look at the inside of that mouth. But yeah, that's dope the way you could move his head. And you could do the tail whatever shape you want, you know what I mean? Just be careful with it. Basically try to recreate the picture on the box, you know. You can see how the tail works, you know what I mean? You could pretty much bend it any which way you want. So, but I'm surprised at how posable this actually really is. Awesome. All right, I'm really loving how this looks and scales with Kong. That looks great, man. You know, I'm posing them on the shelf together for sure. Because they just look awesome together and they scale quite nicely together. That's awesome, man. I'm gonna put them two in a couple different poses for you. Yeah, that's fantastic. Absolutely awesome, man. They look good together, you know. I'm glad I bought them. I bought the Kong. I saw that the Skulldevil was there, but I wanted to see what else they had for sale first. And I just went, I bought the Kong. I went down, I met Ultrazilla, talked to him for a second, went back. All the rest of the Kongs was sold out. So when I saw that, I was like, all right, let me just get the Skulldevil so I have it to go with Kong, you know. And I'm very glad I did. You can also get him in this pose when he was basically had his mouth around Kong's neck, you know, which just makes me think how awesome of a fight scene this actually was, the final fight scene of Skull Island. That was really, really good. I just watched it a couple of times before I did the review, you know, just to see what poses I could put them in. But yeah, man, you know, that was an epic fight scene, and it's so cool what you could do with these figures, man. I love it, dude. That looks awesome. Yeah, let's see what else we got. You could get a really nice shot of Kong ripping open his jaws. You know, that's how he gets out of being bitten on the neck. He just rips his jaws open to get out of it. Awesome shit, man. Awesome fight. That looks great, man. I love that you could recreate these things with these This is why I'm starting to appreciate articulated figures a little more than vinyl. I just like what you could create with them. And that just looks awesome, man. Great stuff. And you could basically have Kong cracking it with the tree like a baseball bat. That was a dope scene right there as well. Awesome. I love that you could recreate this stuff. You'd have the Skulldevil with his hand on Kong's chest like it was in the movie. That's so sick, man. Awesome things you can do with this. Really, really love it. Looks great, too. They scale so nicely together. All right, now this I happen to love, too. This is the airplane propeller that I borrowed from Playmate's Ferocious Kong, which could fit in his hand. Perhaps Hiya should have included this piece. But how cool is that? You know, you can recreate that scene when he hits him in the head with the airplane propeller. Awesome. And of course, speaking of Playmates, we'll just do a quick comparison here with the Playmates Ferocious Kong from Skull Island also. So these are the two Skull Island Kongs. And then, of course, we have the Skulldevil from Skull Island, as well as the GVK number 10 Skullcrawler. So, just to give you a nice comparison of how they look. But, yeah, like I said, would have been nice if they included this piece with this Kong also. That would have been pretty dope. All right, so there we have it, folks. You know, I'm really, really happy with my purchase. I enjoyed my time at Kaiju Brooklyn too. And I love these two figures together, man. You know, they could be better in certain ways, but I think there's enough positive about them where you can overlook that. Every figure could need improvement, and these are no different than anything else, but they're quite nice, and I do recommend both of them. So, I'll be back at you with another one. Next up is Final Wars Goji from SH Monster Arts, which I also got at Kaiju Brooklyn too. So, stay tuned, folks.